Hello world, my name is Tyler Dryden and you're now watching Code for the Streets. So in this video, I said that we're going to talk about lists, dictionaries, tuples, and introduce the idea of classes. But for this video, what I'll probably mainly talk about classes, I'll review functions, and we'll probably introduce lists as well because to understand a lot of things involving classes, it's important to have a basic understanding of lists. So the first thing I'll do, we'll review what we spoke about last week with functions. So if you remember, we had a function that we named add, and we gave it the parameters of a and b, and we said n equals a plus b. Then we said print n, and we have to call it, so we called add, and we passed it the parameters of 5 and 10, and when we run it we get 15. But there's a lot of other cool things you could do with functions. Functions can pretty much do anything. They're a way of programming so that the code makes a little bit more sense and is a little reusable. What we'll do now is we'll make a function that determines your gender, for example. So we'll say gender, right? And we'll say man equals input, are you a man? And we'll say if man, or if yes, then man, print he is a man. I'll show you guys something cool actually. So we'll just call this man, and then we'll say else, and we'll run the function woman that we haven't written yet, and we'll say define woman equals, we'll pretty much just copy and paste all of this because in programming it's all about doing as little as you can as far as work. You kind of just look for every shortcut that's possible because it's pretty tedious, to be honest, but it's worth it. So if yes is not in man, print he is if yes in man, print he is a man, else run this function, which it'll say so you are a woman, and then if yes in woman, he is a woman. She is a woman. And let's run this. Oh, that's not going to do anything because I didn't call the function man. So let's call the function man. I'll say no. Wait, oh yes, I was supposed to put yes. Sorry guys. No, yes, she is a woman. Okay, perfect. And the reason why that's interesting is because you just called this function woman inside of this function. So let's show you something that you can't do. Let's say n is equal to just anything, 5, right? and now you want to get this variable into here. So I'll say print she is a woman plus n, or plus n. Yes, or no. Yes. See, it says n is not defined, even though you defined n right here. So this is something that made me crazy when I was trying to figure it out. So I'll say global n, and what that basically means is now n is the information that n contains is accessible throughout this entire program. All right. So before you put this global here, n was a local variable. Now it's global, and now it'll work. So no. Oh, it's saying that it should be a string, not an int. So we'll just do that, make it a string, and that should work. No. Hold on, guys. You can't see it, I don't think. Yes. She is a woman, 5. Perfect. So you guys just learned how to make an int into a string. As you guessed it, you can do the same thing with an int. And it's just a quick patch for when Python doesn't recognize something for whatever reason. Okay, very interesting. But these are just simple functions. Now, let's talk, I'll introduce you guys to lists real quick, and then we'll talk about classes. All right. So I'll just comment all this out really fast. A multiple line comment. All right. So this is the syntax for a list. Two square brackets like so. You'll say 3, 4, 5. Okay. And now when you send n to print, this is what you get. 3, 4, and 5. Lists are interesting because they're mutable. That means that you can change them. You can add to them or append, or you can remove from them or pop. And that's, I'll put the list of methods in the description so that you can literally just look yourself and perform a whole bunch of interesting things to lists. But what I will show you is indexing. So you want to see basically how to call on each individual part of this list. So if you want to call 3, if you remember, I told you in a previous episode of this series that with Python you start counting from 0. So 3 literally starts, or this here starts from 0, so it's 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, right? So let's see what happens when we print that. 3, it knows. And then if you do 1, it'll do the same. Well, not the same, but it'll count to the next one. And then 2, same thing, right? You guys see how it works. You can do a lot of other things with lists. Maybe I'll make a video next week to go over that. But for now, we're going to talk about classes. And everybody loves classes. Nah, classes are really interesting. They're a very high level of abstraction. They make it very easy to reuse code. So without further ado, I'll show you. Think of a class as, we'll make a class of human for right now, just to show you the way that it works. So we usually capitalize our classes in Python, right? And then we'll have to give it some parameters. So, what do classes, or what do humans have? They have an eye color, they have a complexion, a height, and what else? Eye color, complexion, height. Let's say religion, whatever. Everybody has some type of religion, I guess. So then you have to do something pretty weird here. You have to basically make you have to make it an init function. So we pass that the self argument, which I'll explain in a second. And then you say eye color is equal to self dot eye color. Complexion is equal to self dot complexion. Height, is equal to self dot height. And religion is equal to self dot religion. Okay. That looks a little ugly, so let me make a space real fast. Okay, and now what I'll show you, we're gonna make an instance of human, right? So we'll say human or John. Let's make this lowercase. John is equal to human. Hold on. Give myself some more space. John's equal to human, brown, black, 5'11", Christian. So I might have actually did this wrong. Let me just check something real fast. With programming, a lot of times it's a little easier to just check your last code or check code that you've already written just to make sure that you're doing something right. So okay, yeah, I did it right. Perfect. So this should make sense, right? Yeah. Okay. So now we'll say print John. Eye color is not defined. Oh, let me flip this around. Now I'm gonna run this just to make sure that it goes to the next one, and it does not. Maybe I might have set this up wrong somehow. Yeah, that's a little weird. Oh, you know what I actually did? I think it's because I passed these parameters to the actual class itself. Yeah, you're supposed to pass the parameters to the initialize function. Okay. And let's just fix this really fast. It's equal to complexion. It's equal to height. It's equal to religion. All right, and that should work. See, like I knew I was doing something wrong when it wasn't telling me like I don't know if this is gonna work right now because it should be telling me, it should be prompting me for the rest of the parameters, but it's not. But let's see. 510 Christian. And let's see what happens. Brown is not defined. Oh, it's probably because I shouldn't say complexion, I should say black. This should work. I mean, I hope it works. Okay. Well, it's printing it out as an object, which is an instantation of this. We'll say print John dot eye color brown. Okay, there you go. You could say print John dot height 510. All right. And that's all very interesting, I'm sure. But the main idea of this is that self literally just allows you to assign any type of eye color to this. So self.eye color, it could be any eye color, right? I can make 1,000 of these, 1,000 different people with different eye colors. I could say Elmira, I don't know, equals human or blue. See, and now it's prompting me for each parameter. I could say white, 5, 3, and Muslim, right? And then I'll say Elmira dot religion. Oh, I didn't spell Elmira right. All right. 510 Muslim, see? And that's how classes pretty much work. Now,